Many people struggle with anxiety and fear at some point in their life. The Bible gives us the wisdom and encouragement we need to overcome these obstacles and find peace in God's presence. Let's look at some verses that deal with anxiety and fear. Number 1. Philippians chapter 4 verses 6 to 7. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Instead of allowing anxiety to consume us, this verse encourages us to pray to God. We are encouraged to present our requests with thankful hearts to Him. When we do this, God's peace, which is beyond our comprehension, guards our hearts and minds, providing us with comfort and tranquility. Number 2. Isaiah chapter 41 verse 10. So do not fear, for I am with you, do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you, I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. God assures us that we need not be afraid or discouraged because He is with us. He promises to strengthen, help, and uphold us with His righteous hand. This verse reminds us of God's constant presence and His desire to provide us with the strength and support we need in times of fear and anxiety. Number 3. Matthew chapter 6 verse 34. Therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Jesus warns us not to be overtaken by anxiety and worry about the future. Instead, He tells us to live in the present moment and trust that God will provide our needs. We can be free of anxiety and live each day with faith and trust if we give our worries to God. Number 4. 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 7. Cast all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you. This verse asks us to give God all of our worries and concerns since He truly cares about us. We can take comfort in the knowledge that we have a loving and compassionate Father who is willing to bear our burdens. We can experience His care and find calm in His presence if we surrender our anxieties and worries to Him. Number 5. Psalm chapter 94 verse 19. When anxiety was great within me, your consolation brought me joy. The psalmist acknowledges the presence of anxiety within him but finds solace in God's consolation. When we are overcome by fear and anxiety, we can turn to God for peace and experience His delight. This verse reminds us that God's presence can bring joy and peace to our anxious hearts. Number 6. Joshua chapter 1 verse 9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. These words were spoken by God to Joshua as he was about to lead the Israelites into the Promised Land. They serve as a reminder for us as well to be strong and courageous, knowing that God is always with us. We are encouraged not to fear or be discouraged because God's presence accompanies us wherever we go. Number 7. Psalm chapter 23 verse 4. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil. For you are with me, your rod and your staff. They comfort me. This well-known verse from Psalm 23 assures us that even in the darkest and most challenging times of our lives, we can find comfort and security in God's presence. The psalmist acknowledges that though they may be walking through difficult circumstances, they will not succumb to fear or evil because God is with them. The image of God's rod and staff represents His guidance and protection, bringing comfort and reassurance in times of fear and anxiety. Number 8. Proverbs chapter 12 verse 25. Anxiety weighs down the heart, but a kind word cheers it up. This proverb highlights the impact of anxiety on our hearts and emotions. It recognizes that anxiety can be burdensome and overwhelming, affecting our well-being. However, a kind and encouraging word has the power to uplift and bring comfort to a troubled heart. It reminds us of the importance of offering support and encouragement to those experiencing anxiety. Number 9. Psalm chapter 56 verses 3-4. When I am afraid, I put my trust in you. In God, whose word I praise. In God, I trust and am not afraid. What can mere mortals do to me? This psalm expresses the psalmist's reliance on God when facing fear. It shows that instead of allowing fear to paralyze them, they choose to place their trust in God. They find confidence in praising God and acknowledging His power and faithfulness. By trusting in God's protection and sovereignty, they declare that nothing human beings can do should cause them to fear. Number 10. 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Fear does not come from God, according to this verse from Paul's letter to Timothy. Rather, God has given us a spirit characterized by power, love, and a sound mind. Instead of succumbing to fear and anxiety, we can draw on God's power, love, and soundness of mind. We may face our concerns with confidence if we rely on His Spirit, knowing that God is with us and has equipped us to live triumphant lives. These Bible verses about fear and anxiety provide us with reassurance, guidance, and encouragement to face our worries with faith. They remind us of God's presence, care, and faithfulness, and encourage us to turn to Him in prayer, trust His promises, and find peace in His loving embrace. Through His Word, we can find the strength to overcome fear and experience the peace that surpasses all understanding.